Oh, so the whole thing was just getting lifted up.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my opening performance. Now,
we'll
without
have to
further
also
ado,
play.
we
Turn
may
on there.
proceed to the trial of our god.
So this is what it is. Yes, you deserve praise for the effort you took to raise the dramatic stakes. Do not forget, however, that I am Focalor, the god of justice, the embodiment of justice itself. Does it not strike you as even the least bit absurd to bring the very concept of justice to trial?
May I interpret these words as your refusal to stand trial? In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
She wouldn't want to do that either.
You would draw your blade against a god? I see. It seems like you have made up your mind.
Paimon can't believe it. She just surrendered.
What the heck is going on? Did I just see an Archon surrender to a human?
Wow, how utterly humiliating.
Lady Furina, what is the meaning of this?
Ooh, this is getting
It
spicy.
would seem that there has been a misunderstanding. To be clear, the raising of both hands is not always an indication of surrender.
Then what does it mean then?
Looking for excuses again, huh?
I raised my hands just now to indicate my acceptance of the trial. No duel shall be necessary. I will admit that I've been running away for a long time. I'm sorry, everyone. I was unable to protect the people of Poisson. It is my duty to stand trial for my crimes. You are not the only ones to be disappointed in me. I, too, am exceedingly disappointed in myself. But now, it is time for the Hydro Archon to show you her courage and resolve. I, Furina, will use this trial to show the world the true meaning of justice!
It will be really cool if what she means by that, because again, the whole injustice that happened against the elemental dragons and all that, man, how like Celestia just took the world from them. And what if Furina means like showing the true meaning of justice by actually giving back? But I don't know, I don't have any hope.
This time, I will protect you. Applaud and rejoice. One of the most outrageous and fantastical arcs known to the opera epiclese is now unfolding before your
I'll protect
eyes.
you. Are you talking about
Mark my
Nuvolite?
words. This shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine. The trial of the Hydro Archon, Focalor, will now begin!
Oh, now we're making history. Why does it feel like Furina just took over the whole thing? Like, come on! Didn't she just get forced to stand trial for her crimes? Also, even though she's still acting super dramatic, she is taking this seriously this time, right?
All right, then. Who will be my
Gonna be
opponent?
Nuvolite?
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Oh, it's me?
Is that so? Very well. Then please speak, witness of Tivat, my accuser and fated opponent.
We're so glad and close to getting her to tell us the truth, and it still turned out like this in the end. It's okay though, as long as we can defeat Furina in court, we'll still have a chance to figure everything out. Are we gonna do the whole detective thing again? Man, this reminds me a lot of... like the first part of these just reminds me a lot of Ace Attorney.
Also, please allow me to ask, as a final question before the trial begins. Just how much work did you do to force me onto this stage?
Well,
A lot of
did
work.
do a lot of prep after the meeting
Yeah.
that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula, since they were rather straightforward and easy.
Navia, the president of the Spina di Rosula.
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular audience members, waiting for the perfect opportunity to incite insurrection against you. The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the prophecy is fulfilled. A spark was all we needed to turn smoldering anger into a flame. Moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of you, when something like that occurred, you would likely flee the scene and head to Poisson by yourself. So, we arranged for a second group to lie in wait there.
So, you mean the ones who scoured the settlement for me were also from the Spina?
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may personally participate in the greatest magic performance in all of Fontanian history.
That's right. That house was a magic box, rather than someone's residence.
Okay.
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first performed at the Opera Epiclese, the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and Areneas. Its cargo, of course, was an Archon instead of a human. My thanks, Furina. Without your help, we could never have pulled off such an extraordinary performance.
You're welcome.
Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount of labor in Mora to pull this off. We had to select a location, construct the giant magic box,
I really wonder
dig a
where
tunnel, and
Furina's
open up a path through the water.
gnosis is.
It was a lot of work
Did you
for
already
all of
give it
us.
to them?
So, in other words, the earthquake that we felt within the giant magic box was just a normal tremor from the...
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.
Yeah, sorry about that. We didn't see you.
I can guess Nervilette and Cloran's parts. You gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and made sure that the champion duelist would be immediately ready for a fight. Also that as soon as I appeared on the stage, the trial may commence without a hitch. Am I right?
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Clorand, I must commend you for your courage. Only the most outstanding champion duelist in all of Fontaine would accept a duel with an Archon without flinching.
Thank you.
As for you, Traveler, I suppose your role was to keep me distracted with conversation once you found me in Poisson. You'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd arrived onto the stage.
You actually guessed wrong. My mission was to give you one last chance. Yeah.
Is that so? Then I suppose I must have missed my final chance. It's fine. It matters not. What's done is done. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience.
Well,
Let's see this trial.
so I can help, but be a little bothered by the conversation. What did Furina want to say to me right before we arrived at
Sir
the stage?
Prosecutor, please allow me to pass this along. This is a document that Miss Charlotte applied for and received permission to share with you during the trial. According to her, it should speed up the proceeding.
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's here too! Hey, Charlotte! Oh, Leb Hymansi! Isn't this the exclusive interview that she did with us before? So she's already finished it, huh? Wait, then that means this document is a perfect timeline of everything that's happened ever since we stepped foot in Fontaine. So in other words, we can refer to this anthology of evidence every time we want to use something from our journey as evidence for an argument.
Yeah, I'm trying to feeling sleepy right now. I never would have thought of using it this way. Super
Let's
practical
quickly
gift.
confirm the information
Okay.
You defeated the Hydro Archon in the very first duels you took part in at the Opera House. That's one for the history books, all right.
Became Liney's or Liney's. A murder case unfolded in the midst of Liney and Lynette. Can I actually like? It's already 12 guys. Actually, I might have to like add this because I don't know how long this will take. I don't know, it might extend a bit more. I mean, I don't have any work tomorrow or later. I guess we could extend. We could just extend then. Murder case unfolded in the midst of Liney and Lynette's first performance at Grand Opera House. Though they were cleared of the accusation leveled against them, their identities as agents of the House of the Hurt were revealed.
I didn't think that you'd wind up getting to the bottom of the case I'd been following all this time. I guess you could also see this as a happy coincidence.
It turns out that the Fontanians can be dissolved by water from primordial sea. Over the years, Vactor kidnapped and sold many young girls for his experiments to try and find a way to bring back his wife who had been dissolved.
This is the first time Monsieur Nervillette had a difference of opinion with the Oratrice. Even the Hydro Archon can't figure it out.
Though Neuvillette believed Child to be innocent, the Oratrice judged him as guilty in the end, and even Furina didn't know why.
A Fatui Harbinger. She's an extraordinary person. Her instinct must mean something.
During the diplomatic meeting with the Knave, she revealed that she had already probed Furina on her own, and it believes it is possible that that not only is Furina not really the Archon, but that she's actually afflicted with some sort of curse.
The fortress of Meripede was almost destroyed in a single day.
Oh, sorry. Can you
the
say
fortress of Meripede was
saying
almost
again?
destroyed in a single day. That I didn't witness that scene personally will always be a source of professional regret, I think.
The entrance to the Primordial Sea is sealed beneath the Forbidden Zone in the fortress of Meripod. And recently, the Primordial Sea has nearly broken out. It was only temporarily pushed back by Neuvillette's power. What were you saying about this?
According to Monsieur Nervillette, both Child and that whale should have been in the Primordial Sea at that time.
He saw Child floating in the sea in a dream, as well as an indescribably massive whale.
I nearly lost my awesome friend Navia. To be honest, that still gives me shivers.
While exploring the ruin near Poisson, it began to collapse and Navia fell into water containing primordial seawater. Only the protection of the dead members of Spina de Rosula prevented her from dissolving.
The words of someone as extraordinary as a witch can probably only be truly understood when something surreal happens to you.
And communicated with you by connecting your consciousness. She believes the prophecy will certainly happen, but that you needn't give up all hope. Okay.
The prosecution and the defense are both in position.
Alright, we're gonna be playing Ace Detective here.
Oh, come on, Nervillette. There's no need to repeat all the unimportant legalese. Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offenses. As the defendant and the lead actress of this performance, I still haven't even been informed of my supposed guilt in all of this.
Okay.
Of course, it is only natural for humans to struggle to understand the actions of a god. However, you will need more than that to convict me of a crime.
That's true, but my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon. Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Wait, what was that? Lady Furina's a fraud?
Hey, I came here thinking that we were going to try the Hydro Archon for forsaking her duty, but did I hear that right? She's not our Archon at all?
Charge accepted.
Alright.
Lady Furina, do you plead guilty to the charge? Lady Furina.
I plead not guilty. How can I be guilty? There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Furina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine, could be anything other than your true Archon.
Yeah, even though Lady Furina can be rather eccentric, isn't it going too far to doubt her very identity?
Yeah, I've never questioned her identity either. Sure, Lady Furina can be super irresponsible, but what grounds does
I'm just
that
trying to think,
prosecutor
like,
have to make
what?
such a huge claim?
Just trying to ready myself up.
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever since they were born. There would be no fooling their memory. See? Even the Oratrice has decided to show me its favor. Are you sure you want to commit to a charge that will never be upheld? If you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as the God of Justice that you will not have to face trial for making a false accusation. We will treat everything that's happened as a dramatic spectacle and move on with our lives. What do you say to that?
Huh. An argument with near impossible odds, huh? We have to not only refute Furina's claims, but also overturn the long-held beliefs of the people.
People only see you as their Archon, yeah, because that's their long-held belief.
I tried to give you the chance to surrender. If you must persist, then let me ask. If you
You're a
believe
freaking.
I'm not the Archon,
You're an
then
oceanid.
what manner of being do you think I am? And if I was not the Archon,
You're an oceanid.
then how did I manage to live for over 500 years?
I don't know. Relevant. It actually shows like whether it's like relevant or not. Relevant or not. They have. Guess this.
First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally possess an extended lifespan. And second of all, even if that wasn't the case, there could be other ways to extend your life.
Such as a curse.
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave? You'd sink so low as to use a harbinger's words against me.
Doesn't matter who gave us information.
I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resemble a type of curse. But in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but a curse after all.
You sensed it too, huh, Neverlet?
So, Furina, instead of an Archon, could you just be a cursed human?
Furina
Hold on, guys. I also
is
need to
actually
fucking.
human?
So I have like my thing here set. We're in like the colors, I guess. How do you even change this? Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. I just had like the night light thingy turned on automatically at like 12 noon. Because that's like normally my sleeping time, but
well,
I guess we're not going to be doing that.
It's true that it's extremely difficult to tell humans and gods apart just by looking at them. It's not impossible.
Okay, Archers actually agreed with us.
Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Even if I have been carrying a curse like you said, how does that prove that I am merely a human being? Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession of authority. Gods can do what humans cannot. That's why they're worshipped as gods. For centuries, manifestations of my authority have served the nation of Fontaine. One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal in this very opera house, or consider the endemnitium that is used in every aspect of life.
Wait, the one trial proved the opposite. Furina actually has no control over the Archers at all. Yeah, it's the one trial with this child's conviction.
You tried to reference the Oratrice, but weren't you as confused as all the rest of us? When
Still
the
feeling like
Oratrice
Furina's
declared
tricking
child to
us.
be guilty without any
S-
proof? Otherwise, you should have come up with a good explanation for that by now.
I'm still wondering. I'm pretty sure she's just like fucking playing
Didn't I
along.
make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the gods are naturally difficult for humans to comprehend. There is no need to provide an explanation.
Lady Furina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstances is in order. While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law must come before all else. While you are an Archon, you are also first and foremost the defendant in this trial. You will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue to withhold vital information against the rules of the court.
I never thought you'd use that kind of rhetoric against me.
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Furina. I've merely reiterated the rules of the court. Rules that all should respect and follow.
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty, nor did you understand the structure and operations of the Oratrice. Instead of having been created by you, the manifestations of authority you mentioned have been made by the real Hydro Archon, haven't they?
The real Hydro Archon. Well, now you're really losing. It is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out a guilty verdict that day, but the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally, and it has been operating independently ever since it was first created. You can't argue that just because a divine creation is flawed.
Yeah, I guess
that the
that's
god
true, 'cause we-
behind it must also be
Okay.
no god at all.
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident that we won't be able to produce proof that she has no power over the Oratrice.
I guess yeah, we could. Can you like give us a demonstration of your power as an Archon?
My power as an Archon. There are many ordinary citizens in the audience. How can I just carelessly demonstrate the formidable power of an Archon?
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection to the audience.
You don't need to go that far.
Surely an Archon can at least match the capacities of a human division. Yeah. Oh my god, you're just pretending for me.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the power of Hydro, much less the authority of a god?
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons derive their power from the faith of the people, and I've converted the people's faith in justice into Indemnitium. Thus did I
I really
give up
like
all of my divine
Korean's
power
voice
to provide
actors.
everyone with
She's
energy
just
for
really
their
good.
daily lives. Have you ever seen a more magnanimous god?
Isn't that a huge stretch?
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power? Can a god with no power even still be called a god?
Well, you could say the same thing towards Venti. Although he still retains some power, but come on. Okay, Arch is like just.
Seems like nobody's buying Furina.
Hey, come now, everyone. Please don't stare at me as if I was a liar. I'm still the same Furina you knew, right? The one that you loved. Shouldn't you want to believe in me, please? You've got to believe me.
If what the prosecutor said is true, she really has committed a grave offense.
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents too? And then all of our ancestors? Ever since they were born?
Enough! That's enough. Tell me then, if I'm not the real
say this,
Hydro
Yuvalite.
Archon, then who is? If you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, nor can you find anyone who can back up their claim to be such, then what grounds have you to say that I'm not actually the real deal?
Wow, she came up with yet another argument. How can we refute her now? Seems like she...
We can prove that she isn't. We can try to prove that she's only a human. I guess we can like throw water on her. It's kind of bullshit though to do this against her.
It has been established that all Fontanians can dissolve in water from the primordial sea. And that means...
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now to eliminate all suspicions of you.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court. Though you act in partnership with the prosecutor, you must still adhere to proper procedure.
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. I swear this really will be the last time that I'll speak out of turn.
Yeah, you've done that before.
I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the area not long ago, taking many lives, including those of some of my closest friends. So, Miss Furina, would you dare to touch some of the seawater? If we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching the seawater would have no effect on you. All it should do is strengthen. But if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to see any more people dissolve. I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler path of admitting guilt.
Navia from the Spina di Rasula. The Spina has governed Poisson for many years. I guess her suggestion is valid.
If Lady Furina is indeed just a human, she's probably Fontanian like all the rest of us. Would she really dare to try?
Lady Furina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution. As it falls outside the realm of standard court proceedings, you possess the right to decline participation.
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate is basically the same as a confession of guilt.
She's just staring at the water without saying a single word. It really does seem like she's quite terrified of it.
Come on, she's just
That could only
acting.
mean-
So fucking obvious.
Is she really planning to... That's not what we thought she would...
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Furina, you may...
Hey!
She actually did.
I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! My hand is still here! I haven't been dissolved! Will you believe me now? I really am your Archon! I'm nothing like a normal human who would fall apart as soon as they touch this water! Really? Was this not the most obvious thing in the world?
Miss Siegewin? If you are present, Miss Siegewin, please come forward and attend
Just
to the
get
defendant.
check on her.
Siege, Win? Don't be nervous. It'll just take a few seconds. Let me see. That should be enough.
Please announce the results of your evaluation to the court, Miss Siegewin.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Furina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flushed skin. These indicate that she was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans when exposed to primordial seawater of a similar concentration.
Thank you, Miss Siegewin. Lady Furina, you may return to the defendant's stand.
Oh, wait. What did she just say? I didn't get dissolved! Shouldn't that be enough to prove my innocence?
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare a direct sample of the seawater around. However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve an actual human.
Okay.
After all, on the off chance that something entirely unexpected
Just get
might
completely
occur,
dissolved.
we don't want anyone else to lose their life to the sea.
Yeah, so out of regard for Furina's life, you secured a low-concentration sample and asked the head nurse to serve as an expert witness. It's a great thing that the direct sample wasn't actually used. Furina could have...
I can't believe... You...
What's really going on? Furina can't have not known the consequences of touching the water as a human. This is too unlike how she actually usually acts, unless it's actually more important for her important for her to keep up.
Listen to me, everyone. Please don't give me such cold and disdainful looks. What happened just now didn't prove a single thing. Think about it. How can you conclusively prove that an Archon can't also be affected by the primordial seawater? Also, if I was really just a human, why would I dare to just put my hand in that kind of water?
Okay, they're already like in disbelief.
Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me. I swear, I really am your Archon.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. The odds are just too stacked against her now.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think there's any way left for Furina to win.
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
Furina is gonna be dead.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. She's too stacked against her now.
Aww.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Furina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Furina is...
guilty.
Guilty.
Okay, that is the slate.
We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges.
Okay, I'm too invested to actually just end the story here.
According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Furina is...
Well, what's wrong? What's the Oratrice's verdict?
No, the Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
Isn't that correct then?
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus: the Hydro Archon, guilty to be punished via the death sentence.
The death sentence?
That's actually one of the available sentences? I've always thought that it was just a myth.
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court, and it's been given to the very person we've worshipped as the god of justice? What an unexpected twist.
Furina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice? We just wanted to use the trial to show her the seriousness of things so she told us the truth. How did things escalate this quickly?
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, as well as its recommendations for criminal sentences, is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes that have been committed?
Yeah! Even Fauché wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind behind the serial disappearances case.
Yeah, she like Archus called her the Hydro Archon.
Not only is Furina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also to prove that Furina has never been the Hydro Archon in the first place. But now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon. What does this mean?
Ooh. Getting interesting. Really interesting.
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial still going?
Fremine! You finally made it. I assume this means you've completed your...
Mm-hmm. Any mission Father assigns to me will always be top priority.
You flattery bitches. Just kidding. Okay.
Is that the first prophecy slate? Huh. So the knave privately arranged for Fremine to try and find the missing slate.
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. It took me a long time to get around some dangerous stretches of water. But has the trial already concluded? Then doesn't that mean I've come too late?
Yeah, don't worry, the mystery hasn't been resolved
no.
yet.
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Furina. Please allow me to review the record left on the slate. Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slates, and would like you to come here and confirm their contents.
Huh? So what do you see? What is it?
Oh.
I believe I have now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
Huh? Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, wait, no, that's Furina, and we've already proven that she's not the Hydro Archon. So when you say Hydro Archon, do you mean the real Hydro Archon we've been kinda talking about?
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point can be traced back to the contents of these stone slates. However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make to you.
Association between the contents.
Okay, let's try to recall the contents of the other 3 stone slates. Paimon will do her best to help you remember.
Like to check the descriptions of the stone slates to extract information from them. You can find scenarios related to the stone slates, contents, and the incidents recorded into any interview notebook. Okay. So Furina is really not the Hydro Archon?
Just said. It seems to show the previous Hydro Archon using her divine power, and then the Oceanids turn into humans. Does that mean that Fontanians are transformed Oceanids? Oh, Paimon wasn't expecting that. But if Oceanids can turn into humans, then perhaps this process can be reversed as well. The second stone slate shows Celestia floating in the sky, and the Hydro Archon and her people worshipping it together. But the heavens still brought judgment down upon them. This must be the point when the Hydro Archon and the Fontanians were branded with their original sin. Does this mean that the original sin and the Hydro Archon sin are the third slate shows the Hydro Archon sinking into the sea surrounded by many people? That reminds Paimon, didn't we also watch that happen to someone else? Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy the Fontanians have been talking about. We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen at first, did we? But after that incident, it was just a question of when and not...
What I'm gonna do? What am I? Oh, hold on. Stone slates in the ruin showing the process. This one?
We
Yeah.
know from the case of the serial disappearances of young women that Fontanians can be dissolved, and the first stone slate tells us that long
So
ago,
just
the
reversing.
Hydro Archon this might be the reason that
Okay. Shows Celestia floating in the sky. Hold on. Okay, is it this one then? Hold on. Okay, let me actually go go to that later. Do that later. Shows that the Hydra Archon sank into seas, raised by many people. Okay. This one then. The Hydra is... this one?
Sound quite quite
Ah,
brown.
okay. It's this one. Come on. I just guess I don't know about this one.
The prophecy from the stone slates found its way into society, but not many people believed it at first. If we hadn't dealt with it in time, things could have gone very badly.
I'm sorry? I didn't actually understand what you're saying there. Secret Force has been protecting is the entrance. So I guess it's this one now. This. Okay. I'm just guessing.
What is about to take place has all happened before. And the original sin cast down on the people of Fontaine by Celestia, as recorded on the stone slates.
A sentence never before passed in the court of judgment has been handed down.
It's not as simple as falling into the sea. When Navia fell into the sea, her consciousness was subject. The stone slates show the people gathered around the Hydro Archon in the sea.
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the seawater. The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Perhaps this means Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the people of Poisson in a court within her consciousness, and was forced to take part in a trial meant to make her... The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meripede was the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass. The prophecy's contents can all be verified by recent events.
Get what it meant. It's still like the whole. It's just like kind of wonky. The whole gameplay regarding like trying to get the truth compared to like Ace Attorney.
So that's how you. But then it feels like we're going to have to.
Let's hear them.
Yeah, Fontanians are not real.
Linny.
We're not.
All Fontanians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon. With Oceanid, the evidence for that can be found in how only Fontanians could dissolve in primordial seawater. And how all the girls Vacher dissolved were also turned... Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial. All of them in the shape of Oceanids.
Indeed.
Crime of death. Okay.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate.
So I guess Furina is not then a real Archon. She's like a Oceanid, like leader of the Oceanids then. 'Cause she can like switch between I call this Yuma and Oasia. I think that's like a special thing that only Fontanians have.
That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty. It's to account for that.
The Hydro Archon's true sin was creating us?
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese. The twist.
Yeah, isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into the sea? So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled in the fourth slate? In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away. Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive that you've already managed to connect so many pieces of the truth. However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been etched with an additional layer of hidden information using a different power source. When we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the slates. But since we only had 3 slates at the time, now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher the narrative recorded within. If everything goes well...
What is real truth?
I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people. Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontanians and the sin of the Hydro Ark. In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land.
Okay.
The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of a similar kind. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon, as one of the seven, did not possess the authority to create a new form of human life. Not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this planet's primordial sea. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids' blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the... But if Fontanians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, their forms
just
would
out of first right
and
now.
they would be reverted to their original forms. Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history of how the people of Fontaine first came.
So we were all Oceanids before we turned in.
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just going to pretend that I never heard. Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death. After all, her only...
This really might be too much information for your regular Fontanian, but it does answer a lot of our questions.
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the third and fourth stone slates was inaccurate. The slates' respective positions are, in fact, correct.
So, what is
a key point of the visual on the third slate is how all the individuals depicted in the water are humans rather than Oceanids. They have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in this slate is not water from the primordial. The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of trials and justice. Instead of being the literal element, the water in the scene symbolizes judgment and justice. You may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that of many others who intended to hold a trial to determine her fate. Therefore, the meaning of the third slate is that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the court of justice.
You guys are just like
yes,
feeling.
It refers to our present situation.
We're feeling this prophecy.
I'm following now. So, what you're saying is, even though we decided to put on this, in truth, everything we've done has happened exactly as the prophecy foretold.
What should we do?
Huh. No matter what, the prophecy will be fulfilled. Is this what it feels like to be a prisoner of fate?
If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the fourth slate will also be fulfilled soon?
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy in your deduction about the fourth slate. You probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fortress of Meripede served as the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass, yes? However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that eruption could in fact only be a small warning of something. As for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it once before.
I don't know what you guys are talking about, actually.
This eruption was just a small warning of the things to come. We must find the root cause of the disaster.
Secret the fortress of Meripod has been protecting is the entrance to the primordial sea. Though Nuvolite has sealed it once more, just how long will it last? The prophesied disaster will likely spread from here. Is it a whale?
It was both dream and reality.
If we're talking about a true culprit, that could only be that thing inside the primordial sea, right?
The truth, the original sin, the trial.
Let's do another one of these. Okay, I thought I need to do another one of that. So I guess it's been cursed. Then do we have to fight these? I'm sure we're gonna have to fight these. Oh, it's Tartaglia. Child. Oh my god, child is dead? Come on. He can't be dead. Probably need to go down there. Don't I?
That was way too close! How did that thing just burst into the opera house? Wait, was that the huge whale you saw in
Yeah.
your dream?
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it has chosen to make an appearance here. That whale does not belong to Tevat. It is a monster that has traversed the stars, weeping all the while.
Probably came from Celestia.
It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea, using it to grow. That is the main cause for the rising sea levels. And once it has finished consuming all of the energy contained within the sea, its next step will be...
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontanians out of Oceanids, she filled their blood vessels with primordial seawater.
You act like you're not one of the ocean
That
eights.
whale finds the blood of Fontanians nigh impossible to resist. Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, it decided to make its next stop a packed opera house full of food. Food in the form of Fontanians.
We just barely managed to push it back, right? In that case, won't it come back to target the people again once it's managed to recover its strength?
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some time. Without him, the whale would have likely come onto
So I
land
guess we
far
now have
sooner.
to, like...
From the way he looked, he must have been fighting the creature for quite a long time.
That battle maniac. We've always known that he had a special connection with that whale, but we definitely didn't expect it to help us out. Anyway, now that we know that this whale is the actual cause of the disaster recorded in the prophecy,
It is too late. It had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could notice it. At this point, it has become practically integrated with the sea itself. Even if the entirety of Tevat were to be destroyed, it could still survive and swim off towards
It's like a
some
freaking...
other world.
I don't know why, like in all, like, in any fucking, like, movies, TV shows, or whatever, even, like whales have always been portrayed, like, the one that's traveling in between, like, the stars, like, space whales, I don't know, just like a common trope, I guess, for, like, any movies or TV shows based on space or has some like elements that are based on like actually traveling through space and all that, or like just like a setting this set on space, I would say.
That's not not something I will accept. We've already done everything we can, and we even found the true culprit. We've come so far. You can't just tell me that the
Feel
last
sad for
hero is some
Furina. It's like
impossible
useless.
foe. That's just not fair.
Indeed, that's not how a grand performance should end.
I'll fight it to the end. No matter.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be fulfilled. You may view such things as the history of the future. Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, could things be happening in hidden corners where the gods' gaze does not fall?
The place where the whale exists is not really like in the vicinity of like where gods in this world can see.
Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Tevat's future.
Did I miss something? Wait, I forgot about Furina. What was it that she wanted to say to me at the last moment in the giant med? What is her real secret? It's the Oratress. This is like a fucking weapon that she made.
What's happening with the Oratrice?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Furina! No, I still need answers.
There's that. Is it real, like the previous Hydro Archon? Looks like it. Oh, it's a real Furina.
You.
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too amusing. I couldn't help myself.
You are not Furina. Who are you?
Ah, the sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success. But to answer your question, I am Focalor. You know, the god.
Focalor. Why did you deceive us?
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. But I had to fool everyone else too, if I was to stand any chance of
Deceiving myself.
the heavenly principle.
Oh dear.
Deceiving the heavenly principles.
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. Fontaine condemned to be flooded. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor. That's the former Hydro Archon Egeria, for the uninitiated. It hardly gets more disastrous than a preordained national catastrophe, now does it? She knew full well that the prophecy would surely come to pass. And as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly principles at one's peril. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather impossible situation that I found myself in. I spent a terribly long time mulling it over.
Oh, this is like the thing that they were talking about. Furina just having like a different skin.
By the time I finally realized first. There was only one possible solution to this. I had to outwit the heavenly principles, allow the prophecy to be fulfilled, ostensibly at least, while saving everyone at the same time. I'm a genius, I know. I can only assume that's why Egeria chose me as her successor. Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. Between the task of saving the nation, the quotidian duties of the Hydro Archon, and not to mention the original sin of creating a new race of humans, I dare say she left me quite a colossal mess to clean up. But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I chose to be one of her Oceanid familiars.
So you were also once one of the Oceanids,
Yeah,
transformed
knew
into a
it.
human by Egeria's hand.
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. In my eyes, to be human is to be part of the
I guess makes
greatest
sense.
opera
This
ever
we don't
known.
really have any indication on like a rule on what type of like being can be, or I mean like there's no rule on like uh like humans are only only the humans can become um what do you call this what like an archon. Like there's no freaking rule for that. I guess makes sense.
After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and
I knew it. Like
bewildered as my past self on
splits
her
herself.
first day as a human being. The me you see before you now is that divinity. And the human counterpart I left behind, I named Furina. She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and conceited, or as meek and vulnerable as she wished. Her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess, as were her shortcomings. But in my eyes, Furina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. The person I always wanted to be. Anyway, so then I cursed her. All part of the plan, of course.
Anyway,
The
so
plan to
I just
deceive the heavenly
cursed her.
principles. Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? The Hydra Archon alone, weeping on her throne. In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, I invited Furina to be an actress, to play the part of the Hydro Archon in the prophecy. Under the curse I placed on her, so long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she free to live her life in the pursuit of happiness. Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading lady, to forever play the part of the god from the prophecy, all to create a deceitful appearance of that prophecy coming to pass. I suppose now you probably understand why your court is called the Opera Epiclese.
But Furina is only human, isn't she? Even though she has had a long life, her mind is no stronger than that of any other ordinary human being. I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to endure. It must have been torture for her.
It has indeed. And although she is, in a sense, me in human form, I most definitely owe her an apology for it. It's been 500 years, and all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely, and agonizingly painful opera of all time.
You guys can see a cutscene here. As usual. Oh no. Okay. Yeah. It's what you did with the singing, the harp that you stole during the Archon quest on Mondstadt. Like you used the tears something. I forgot. I think it's like Tears of Divalin. I don't know. Forgot what it is. Anyways, I came in contact with Furina's tears. If I remember correctly, tears often contain a being's strongest emotions. With sufficiently strong hydro sensitivity, I can form an emotional connection, just like I did with the ocean in the fountain of. Like a reflection of her inner self. If I can directly speak to that self, I might be able to easily get what I want. Came here for answer either way. This opportunity is not to be missed. Let me try talking to her. Hello. How can I get up here though? Oh, are there stairs here? Okay, there is. Kind of saddened though. I'm gonna like give my thoughts after this quest. Man, it's ready. Like,
who permitted you to come onto this stage? Now, I understand your admiration for my august self, but I must ask you to keep to the rules. All right. It is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need to state your name. Just be off with you. Do not distract
what's
me
that
from my
thing that just came up? Like at the top of the screen there. It says like, "Don't look at me. Don't look at me." Okay.
Oh, do not jest. Can you not feel it? I am Focalor. The eyes of countless Fontanians are
Wish
upon
you could
me.
just combine with
At all
yourself
times,
again.
display the utmost elegance and nobility.
Yeah, she's still playing there. What sort of resolve does she have that even her inner self has a message? I have to find a way. What do I need to do? Turn off all the spotlights.
Dear audience, the performance is experiencing a technical difficulty, but worry not. The guards shall resolve it soon enough.
Right. Kind of a bit sad, and you know how turns out Free is not really the real Hydro Archon.
What gives? The audience is still watching me, you know. Guards? Where are the guards? Guards!
Can you not do that, please? All right. Speaking of which, I think I just received some sort of signal. Is that her true voice? A ticket. When did that end up here? It's a golden ticket. Oh, it's like I have to sit there? Okay. Oh, I have Blake as her. Hello.
Furina. Furina.
Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Where are you?
Be not nervous. Be not afraid. I am before you.
Wait a moment. You're mirror me? How can this be?
Mirror you, huh? You know what? That's not bad. Let's go with that.
Mirror me. What do you wish to say?
The prophecy. Have you heard of it?
What prophecy? Wait. I know. I think. I don't know why, but it's in my head somehow. The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Oh, very good. You know it.
What's going on? I can't seem to remember anything clearly. The only thing I know for sure is this prophecy. Will it really come to pass?
Yes, it will. And that is why I've come to you. Disaster will come to Fontaine sooner or later. Things will develop just as the prophecy declared. There is no escaping it.
But doesn't that mean everyone will die? I'm a Fontainian just like them. Will I dissolve too?
Oh, don't worry. Magical meetings exist in this world precisely to give people a chance to turn things around. It is the reason why you met me today. I will tell you how to save everyone, but you may have to suffer somewhat.
Oh, so there's still hope after all. Goodness, you frightened me. You spoke so much and with so much certainty. As for the suffering, well, I will admit that the first thing that came to mind was, why do I have to be the one to suffer? But if the prophecy will come true, I'll also die anyway, right? So if I've already met you as my magical meeting in this world, if there were scales, with all the people of Fontaine on one side and my pain on the other, is it not obvious where the scales should tilt?
You truly are the perfect human. My ideal. I suppose this would also be the justice that belongs to you.
Huh?
Don't worry, it's nothing. Listen well. Fontaine has just lost its Hydro Archon.
Kind of bullshit though, like increases like a person, you let that person become
play as a god.
Like, I don't know. I just don't like it.
You must begin a never-ending masquerade.
Basically, this fucking Hydro Archon, the real one's kinda an asshat. Even worse than.
Keep it up, then I shall have my way of defying this prophecy. But should your identity be revealed, then all hope will be lost.
But how will I do this? A human assuming the role of a god without being exposed.
Don't worry. What you must do is not to turn yourself into a real god. You simply need to play the role of a god as humans imagine them to be. Being a human yourself, I'm sure you already know what such an entity would be like. Remember, your true challenge will not be pursuing divinity, but contending against humanity.
That's a nice sentence there.
I'm still not sure I understand, but I'll try. I'll try to do this. So, how long am I going to have to play this role?
To accomplish this mission, you will have to stay on the stage for many, many years.
Yeah, it's just bullshit from this.
And not grow
like
old until your task ends.
this original Archon. Like, how the fuck do you use like basically so you created like another version of yourself, and you use that version of yourself to suffer, so that you don't have to think about actually trying to come up with like a better plan for no one to actually suffer. Kind of bullshit to me personally.
But I promise you, all will
I don't know.
eventually end in a magnificent and
I
dramatic trial, and
I don't really
everyone
like.
will be saved.
A trial, huh? How exciting. I'll be looking forward to it.
I don't know. Hello. Where do I need to go? I need to go in here. Of course I do. It's like the only thing that's like on the stage. By the way, I really do apologize if I'm not speaking. It's just that, man, I don't know if I'm gonna be giving my thoughts right after this stream.
The Maison Cardinalise has announced my accession, but this is my first time facing the people. What should I say to most appear like a god? To be honest, I still don't know. Perhaps I should first try to act natural.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and welcome to the Opera Epiclese. I'm sure you've all heard about how I have taken on the role of Hydro Archon. Indeed,
If you're
I am
earnest.
Furina de Fontaine, your new Archon. In truth, I know little about becoming a nation's new god, but it will be my honor to guide you all as the god Focalor, the god of justice. I shall do all within my power to lead you into an age of... Once again, thank you all for coming. If you should have any questions or suggestions, please send them to the Maison Cardinalise. The future of Fontaine will require us to work together, after all. I thought I might stammer, but thankfully, I was able to convey my thoughts just fine. Okay. And
that's the new Hydro Archon. Is
This
this
is
some
just
kind of joke by the
I've
Maison?
thought-
I would have thought that a being that surpasses humanity would be a bit more assertive.
Hey, did you hear that? She even told us to send her suggestions there at the end.
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest. What's the difference between her and an ordinary person?
If you ask me, perhaps the succession didn't actually happen. She might just be a Maison-backed puppet.
Wait, what's going on? Why is everyone suspecting me of being a fake? Oh, this is bad. If I get exposed here, there'll be no saving the people from the prophecy. Right. Mirmi said that I just need to play the role of a god as humans imagine them to be. Calm down, Furina. Think. What do the people want? How would they imagine a god to speak and act? Assertive, with a strong sense of presence. One who can dispel all doubt. That is the character I'm fated to play. Oh, very good, my people. Only ones such as you are deserving of my rule. Now, I was wondering if some weak puppet were to one day come onto the stage and claim ownership of this opera house, would the children of Fontaine follow them? Well, it seems that you would all see right through them. Having passed my test, you are qualified to witness wondrous trials alongside my august self. Here in this opera house, you may consider my previous act a door gift of sorts. I thought it was a debut that suited the atmosphere. Now then, let us be reintroduced.
Ah, so that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we were inside an opera house?
Personality? It's quite shocking, to be honest, but I suppose it's a better look than before.
Such a fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful! Our future may yet be bright after all.
It seems I've turned them around. Best follow this flow and restart my accession speech.
Resolutely with
My
conviction.
dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, Keep faith in your ardor for justice. We have heard it said that this nation's sins can no longer be washed away. Well, I say that justice is most fragrant when it blooms amid sin.
Turn up the
The
drama.
scales of justice should not weigh heavy in the hands of its God. On one side, it must carry fairness and justice. And on the other, praise and
Am I
applause.
doing good as playing as
May
Furina?
law be the prayer on our lips. May judgment be our worship. Let us light the fires and drink to the future of Fontaine.
And end the speech emphatically.
There is no trouble in this world that justice cannot solve. All that is needed is for you, my people, to believe in it, heart and soul. So long as I, the Archon Focalor, stand within the Opera Epiclese, so long as I stand before the Oratrice, I shall even judge the gods of this world!
A really long freaking Archon quest.
Lady Furina, here are today's case reports, as well as a summary of the follow-up for your perusal.
Come now, was I not just at the Opera House in person? Leave these kinds of things to Neuvillette. Besides, none of these trials were the one that I'm looking forward to the most.
If I may be so impertinent, what kind of trial are you truly looking forward to?
A magnificent, dramatic, and wondrous trial. A trial to end all things. How could you hope to understand?
That's true, I fear I lack the ability to grasp your divine thought, Lady Archon.
No need for fright, and do not take what I said before too seriously. Go now, do your duties. The trial I await. It will come one day.
Alright. It's really just an incompetent leader, is what it turned out to be.
Lady Furina, I don't know what to say. Thank you for agreeing to see me.
No need to thank me. Or rather, thank your own sense of perseverance instead. Long have you stood in line to meet me, have you not? Oh, I'm afraid that's just an inevitable consequence of my divine charm. All right, Deoteria, is it? How is your son's illness?
You remembered me, and you knew of my family too. He is doing much better now. In fact, he is far more of an ardent believer than I. He was the one who forced me to seek an audience with you, and to bring your words back to him.
Oh, good. Very good. If this should happen again in the future, please do not hesitate to come and tell me. Going down to citizens' homes every so often, while not usual practice, should serve as a fine change of pace.
You're such a gentle and wise god. Thank you once again, on behalf of my son.
Right. I've done this already. It's not lit up anymore. Where's the light coming from, by the way? There's nothing in there.
Lady Furina, here are the latest hydrological reports. As for the specific parameters you asked to take note of, I'm afraid things still don't look good.
I see. It's as I thought then. As your god, I did already expect this, but I wanted to see how far your human wisdom would allow you to analyze it. All manner of signs indicate that the prophecy will still come to pass. Forget it. That's not something you need to worry about right now.
Well, as I understand it, the Fontaine Research Institute is also trying to find a way to counter the rising water levels.
Really? Have they found anything?
I'm afraid that they haven't found any effective solution thus far.
Oh, is that so? Well, no wonder. This issue has reached the realm of the gods after all. Still, their spirit is praiseworthy.
Okay. And I guess we're visiting someone that is sick. Dad is sick.
The day is finally over. I haven't had a moment to breathe this whole time, but it's good to see that everything's getting on track. There are no longer any voices of suspicion. Maybe this is fine. I just need to keep going, and everyone will be safe. Alright, Furina, don't think too hard about this. You need rest. Tomorrow's a new day.
Probably will not be posting this in YouTube actually.
Lady Furina, here are the new trial reports for the latest cases,
I
as
know.
well as a summary of the follow-up.
There'll be no need for that. I've seen them already. There's no need to go back over scenes I've witnessed in person before.
Lady Furina, I've waited so long for this chance to see you in this manner.
Indeed, my dear, loyal citizen. This joyous moment is an honor for us both.
They're just like doing the same thing over and over
Lady
again.
Furina, we're detecting significant hydrological anomalies near Poisson.
Understood. Keep monitoring. Keep me informed should anything come up at the Institute.
Kind of boring, right? You just have to just doing the same thing over and over again.
Don't think I let anything slip today. I must show the people that there is nothing to worry about. I just...
Yeah, kind of sad. I really feel sad for her.
feel utterly exhausted.
He's been used.
Best to rest early.
It's this asshole of a like Fossilors. I really wish he actually becomes a real at the end of this. What is happening? Why it's not? She becomes the real like Hydro Archon at the end of this, but I don't think so. Kind of disappointed in all honesty. The reason why, like I said earlier as well, might not post this on YouTube. I'm just kind of disappointed what happened. You get what they're trying to do here.
Furina, it's like a dream being able to speak with you up close like this. I've heard that the first member of our family who was honored to receive an audience with you was
Oh, 20 years, generations ago.
20 generations ago.
And what a fine family yours is indeed. It brings me great joy to meet such a faithful believer. A descendant of a line most ardent.
Surely you exaggerate, Lady Furina. My lady?
What is it, good citizen?
Are you crying?
Uh-huh. Really now? I didn't even notice. This must be the overflow of hydro from my person.
Hydro from my person?
Can't quite help being the
It's not
god
even
whose
fucking me.
dominion is the waters, can I?
No wonder. No wonder. A manifestation of your
I just
power,
feel sad
then.
for her, man.
Oh, Archon, I am honored to have witnessed it.
Being pushed to play as an Archon, then, you know.
So interminable. So lonely. Just how much longer? Hundreds of years must have passed by now. Perhaps the show must go on for hundreds more. I never imagined that it would hurt so much. Have I reached my limit? No. Perhaps I reached it long ago.
Today I didn't even notice my own tears. I want to tell someone, anyone, about this. But would that not destroy all I've done so far? I've conducted so many investigations across the centuries. But there's not even a sliver of hope that we might break the prophecy. All I can do is keep heart. I must maintain this act. It is the only way to save Fontaine. Please, mirror me. You have to succeed.
Okay. Okay.
Furina, you don't. Although I don't know what you might be keeping from everyone, your people are more than willing to share your burden with you.
Yeah, we're getting near towards the end.
Share. That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone.
But even if your burden doesn't need to be shared, you can still choose to confide in someone. Just share it with me. I'm what you'd call a witness.
A witness? Yes. I've heard that you came to Tevat from beyond the stars, yes. In other words, you never belonged here. And if Tevat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage, then you're just a spectator, aren't you? If that's the case... He's right. I could confide in him, couldn't I? But if things don't play out as expected, the people of Fontaine will be the ones to pay the price. No, Furina, you shouldn't be selfish. But what if it's really alright? Furina, you've worked so hard for so long. Surely it would be okay to put yourself first for once. Just this once. Is it such an outrageous thing to do anyway? To find someone in whom you can confide your frustrations and sorrows? Surely it could not hurt. If you let this opportunity slip through your fingers, it might never come by again.
It's kind of weird. She has like different hairstyles, by the way. Just realized.
Think about it. Long and hard. No, I have nothing to say. I am Furina, the Archon of Fontaine. Everything will surely get better. All you need to do, dear spectator, is to witness my performance until the curtains fall.
Guess she made this her decision.
Fine.
Fine. Fine. We're gonna see the whole trial go on as well. Hopefully not.
So even Furina doesn't know the truth?
Yeah.
You never once let her in on the full plan?
Yes, it had to be done. To deceive the
You
heavenly
didn't deceive yourself, you deceived someone else. That's what happened here.
She did very well. If she had let her resolve falter even once in these 5 centuries, Fontaine would have been doomed to the most tragic fate. It seems that trusting humanity was the right decision after all.
I believe that I understand how your deception works, but that is only half the truth, is it not? How would you build on this foundation to save the people of Fontaine?
Yeah.
That is the most important thing.
Ah, good, good. Of course, the Udex of Fontaine has pinpointed the crux of the issue. I'm sure you've long sensed that the Oratrice is no simple machine, yes?
I've always suspected that it had its own consciousness. And Lenny did mention that he heard a human voice within the core chamber.
Is it your voice?
It now seems that that person was you, hidden within the machine all along. Am I right?
And then I became one with the Oratries, taking Fontaine's gnosis with
The
me.
gnosis is inside.
Yes, it would seem so, wouldn't it?
The Archers.
Alas, your understanding of this device still lacks sufficient depth. In truth, it is no enactor of justice. It is, in fact, a device created to kill the god of justice.
Beg your pardon?
Oh, you have it. And to be more precise, not only will the Oratries take down the god of justice, it will also take down the divine throne upon which she has been placed. I mean, did you think I would be the sort to enjoy
now
peaceful repose while Furina
like the actual
suffered?
powers we now actually given to.
Over these last 500 years has been to constantly
To actually
accumulate
give it to her.
indemnitium within the Oratries.
She will actually become
But
a god.
really, some have already discovered that only a small fraction of the energy generated by the device was ever used to provide power to Fontaine. The vast majority has been, had to be, accumulated to enact this death sentence.
It was all a part of your plan then? Both the trial and the sentence?
Indeed. This power, accrued over 5 centuries, could have sustained Fontainians for millennia, had it only been used for that purpose. Almost all of it has now been stored within the Oratries. But only power of this magnitude could hope to destroy the Hydro Archon's divine throne, shaking the rules established by Celestia, and breaking through the institution that is the Seven.
So the Oratrice's call for death was for neither Furina nor Focalor.
Yeah.
But for the Hydro Archon.
The destruction of that divine Hydro Archon.
If I do not misunderstand your intent, you must be
trying to rebel against Celestia.
Returning what's rightfully yours to you, of course.
Oh, there you go. Fucking knew it. Because he is the original ruler.
In other words, this was all done to return the authority of the Hydro
the end of the day, I was fucking right. You're the real leader, ruler of this place.
No, what? Getting sad again, are we? The authority of the ancient dragons shall soon be yours once more. Oh,
he's gonna
sovereign.
Pass it to.
And this is the face you make.
All you've done throughout the years is just so you can sacrifice yourself at the very end.
I've never quite seen it that way, you know. Even now, I'm quite pleased at how well my deception worked. Hydro Dragon, don't cry. I must say, had it been
God, I was fucking right.
I would have loved to judge the heavenly principles themselves. Were they not guilty of essentially the same crime? Egeria stole the power of the primordial sea, and the heavenly principles stole the power you ancient dragons possessed. I, for my part, am the god of justice. And is it not just that your original powers should be returned to you? Speaking of justice, I have always believed that justice lies in the process of pursuing human existence itself. So, if the theft of the primordial sea's might was Fontaine's original sin...
The original sin of Celestia is stealing the powers from the mental dragon.
Leaving matters of procedural right and wrong aside, the descent of the Fontainians as humans and their right to exist in this world would be Fontaine's original justice. In other words, existence was Egeria's justice, and to me, justice is the continuation of that existence, defying the prophecy and ensuring that Fontaine's people shall live on. That should be the justice enthroned over all others. At this point, we, whether it be myself or all other Fontanians, have shouldered the burden of this sin for far too long. Iudex Neuvillette, the highest judge in our land, when you regain your full power as an elemental sovereign, what verdict shall you pass upon us?
Is he gonna pass the powers to Furina? Probably gonna be like that.
So when I was invited to the court of Fontaine to serve as Iudex,
Yeah.
I see now that that was your idea.
I knew it. Like the whole story about him hearing that thing at the end. I fucking knew it. Man. God, I fucking called it. But I didn't know how this... I thought like Furina was just like fucking like... You know, it was more of like a simple like story. It's more of a convoluted version of what I thought it's going to be. But yeah.
At last, I now understand the true purpose behind this position. In the beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries of living alongside them have gradually brought about mutual understanding between us. And I have even attempted
Who fucking wrote that? Oh, I guess Furina probably asked Fossilors for help.
You are a devious one, Fossilor. Things being as they are, surely you know that I could never declare them to be guilty.
Cutscene time. Yeah.
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner, the curtain call has come. I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid. Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common. Farewell, Neuvillette. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
That's a farewell that was on the... It's like dancing, just like knee loop for a second. Oh, Green's fucking dead. Too. No. I guess New Bullet now is like the freaking... You don't have any more the 7 Archons. It's gonna be now 6 Archons.
I, Iudex Neuvillette, hereby declare, people of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
We've been duped though. Because Furina's not a fucking Archon. the end of the day.
What just happened? Has the death sentence been carried out?
Was that bright light some sort of misdirection? I have a feeling that something huge just happened.
But since we're all still alive and haven't been dissolved, I assume whatever happened was good for us.
Turned into real
It's
humans.
time to end this. We must mete out punishment to that beast.
Didn't you say just a moment ago that it can't be defeated?
Well, he is now at his full
I have gained
strength.
the strength
Yeah.
sufficient to deal with it. Through certain means, I now have the ability to separate the power of the Primordial Sea from that creature. We should seize the opportunity to pursue our quarry. Traveler, now that the oratories can no longer function, I require
Okay, we're
an
now gonna
executor
fight.
at the root of the calamities befalling Fontaine, the beast that enacts the prophecy. Its name is the all-devouring Narwhal. Come with me, traveler. The hour of...
We're gonna get another like version of Nubilite, by the way. Now that he is like. Holy shit! This is reminds me of fucking Dvalin. Been a while since we fought a fucking.
But how are we going to do that? It's huge!
Hello.
I've already done my best to separate the power. Considering the size of the beast, I
They
cannot
need to do
reach the
that.
power source. Unless we can find a way to attack it from within. I shall share a part of the ancient dragon's power with you. We shall look for an opening together.
Can I actually use water against you?
I can feel its sorrow turning into hostility.
Guess I can. Ow! Ow! Ew! You hurt.
The all-devouring narwhal cannot resist its instinct to devour. Continue to trigger its hostility. A chance will present itself.
What do I need to do? You're fucking hard to kill. Are you almost like this is a weekly boss? Quite disappointed though if this ends with Furina just being. We are not gonna be getting eaten. Oh, I got eaten. Got eaten, man. Ow! I don't have fucking fire. Are you? Absurd!
I have granted you my protection. Do not fear. Seize the moment and use my power to suppress its roots from within.
What power? I don't see your fucking power.
Illusion shattered. Into the wind.
Who did I have for reading? Ow. Hey, you're. Get out of this planet, you monster. Oh. Second phase? Oh, okay. It's actually. Who are you? Are you from Honkai? The fuck is this person? Who the fuck is this person?
Thanks for helping with the cleanup. It should have been my job, but
Are we seeing something like crossover?
it was just supposed to be a short private training session for me. I didn't think that my disciple
Oh,
and my master's pet
holy
would start brawling in the
fucking
meantime.
shit! Are you N?
Oh, actually, I had a feeling that it would happen at some point, but they bumped into one another earlier than I thought. What a blunder. I suppose I'll have to swing my sword 3 million.
That power. Who are you exactly?
Paimon has an idea. From what she
Oh,
said earlier, she must be Child's master. It's just that he gave us the impression that she was, less
so are you an, like a Fatui?
I simply did not have anything to say to the weak. But you, on the other hand, managed to defeat the all-devouring narwhal without using power, so you may speak to me as equals. I have to agree. It's a strange use of a planet's primordial waters just to raise an all-devouring narwhal. That kind of power is wasted on it. It's not cooperative. It eats too much. And I have more important things to do with my time than pet sitting. The only thing that creature has going for it is its looks. All in all, it fits.
Miss Skirk? I think you might have...
The point being...
Well, being that this pet almost destroyed an entire nation. So what sort of person is your master? Well, Child's master's master.
Oh, right. So you don't
What the hell
know
is
him.
Skirk? This is like a
His
whole
name is Sertologi.
Sertologi?
I am unfamiliar with that.
Yeah.
Huh. So Master isn't sufficiently famous. How should
Oh,
I describe
so
him, then?
he is
Have you heard of
where
the
like the
name
foul
the
legacy.
The foul?
Yeah.
Still nothing? Well, how
Right.
about the Visionary? Vetterfalnir, then? Or
Fine,
Gold
what's here?
Rind?
Oh, that one we've heard. Rhindotter's part of the Hexen Circle. She's Albedo's mom, right?
Oh, so you do know that name. To be honest, I also heard
So
all
you're
of those
just
names and
throwing out
titles from my
random names, so you
master.
don't actually know
I
some
don't
of these
actually know them either.
as well yourself.
But I suppose you understand now, yes? My master is likely a similar sort to Rhyndotter. They're...
Wait, didn't you also mention a visionary person? Paimon didn't quite catch their name.
Actually, never mind that. I believe it expedient to inform you that the all-devouring narwhal used up nearly all its strength fighting you. Such roiling hydro energies will prove difficult for the planet's deep seas to digest. As such, the fontaine back on the surface has most likely been thrown into chaos. In other words, the prophecy that you've been fretting over should now be in full swing.
What?
No. After all, the prophecy was shown. We knew this and accepted it. However,
Not to worry. Focalor has already managed to deceive the Heavenly Prince.
She deceived.
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only Furina will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Just did a recap of it.
Help! Over here!
Did it just turn back to humans? Yeah. What's going on? It's huge fucking.
All hands initiate emergency rescue.
I guess Fontaine is just gone now. I'm still so freaking confused about the whole thing. I thought Fontaine. We already saved Fontaine. Oh, it's right there. Yeah, because we killed the whale! We killed the fucking whale!
We didn't dissolve. The prophecy was wrong.
Are you alright?
We're safe. The prophecy was wrong.
What happens now? Fucking 7 hours, huh?
The soul renewed. The Sfina tax post-disaster rebuilding. I recently visited Poisson to meet with Miss Navia, spokesperson of the Sfina. Old soil can still give birth to new bloom, Miss Navia stated. Hope is like seeing a small cookie when you're starving late at night. Skyship Winglet, Booner Brain of the Fontaine Research Institute. The various disputes that have arisen on account of Mr. Edwin have suddenly become a shield over the Institute, with Jurier turning out to be a once overlooked hidden gem. People always call the first researcher mad, but few know what to call the second. And should that latter person achieve a miracle, they would find it all the harder to find a word with which to classify him and his team.
Okay.
Wow! Paimon barely recognizes the people in the reports. Are those really Jurier and Navia? They sound like real big shots.
They
What
might
do
have
you
been.
think? Pretty enthralling, huh? The Steambird's idea was pretty simple. With the disaster just having passed, we would print a free edition packed to the margins with good news to calm people down. The value for these big scoops lies in their inevitable follow-ups. We'll publish further reports and go into the stories behind those people. Edwin's assistant, Jurier, created a true flying ship, while Navia is leading people in the reconstruction of their home. I'm sure that these stories could draw even you.
Paimon's curious too! Wait a minute. Didn't we watch everything happen from start to finish? What's there to be curious about?
And that's exactly why I'd like you to come conduct interviews with me. You're the best incubators of news, if you haven't noticed. And also, with you around, I'm sure I'll get to see that Duke.
Are you sure? Hasn't he turned you down several times already?
Oh, this
Yeah.
time will be different. Come on, let's head to Poisson first, and then make a trip to the fortress. There are some things you'll only know when you get there.
Ooh, there you get me. What's this? Oh, real phone is Warbo. Don't need that. Where is it freaking? I guess we're about to end this.
Navia!
Oh, did they
Oh,
come back?
it's you.
Hey, we're just having a look around.
I'm here to update myself on how things are going here. Hmm? Oh, the Fatui are here too.
Let me introduce you. This is Mr. Garun
I guess
He
the name is
represented the
pretty
Nave in
bad
sending us
person.
a large amount of supplies, and is helping with our work. Our residents are hard at work as well. Thanks to everyone, work is progressing nicely. We've lost a lot of people, but we're moving forward. That will have to be enough.
Hello, Miss Charlotte. I'm a big fan of yours. I especially like that article you wrote last year about Fontaine's stray cats. But if you don't mind, could you not emphasize our role too much in your report? It's not charity we're doing here. We just happen to share the same interests as the Spina.
I get where you're coming from. I'll keep it as simple as possible. Or would you be willing to feature as friendly neighbors?
Friendly neighbors.
Fine.
Oh, you're back too. How are things?
We finished laying down the construction materials. It'll be another hour before the workers are able to go over there.
Huh? You're here too, Clip?
Well, her reputation's greatly risen after that whole duel business with Miss Furina. So she's here in Poisson to wait out the heat. All right. She really came here to help me out.
There's too much to consider in the reconstruction of Poisson. The Spina has need of more decision makers. And, well, I do already happen to be connected to Mr. Cal.
Wait just a moment. Do you mind me asking a few questions? You know, about how you felt before the duel, about what it was like facing down a god. There's lots of exciting material
That is
there.
not a god.
Forget it. I'm sure you can find a better theme than that.
I see you're the same as always. Couldn't you do me a favor, for Navia's sake?
Well, if we're talking about doing things for my sake, you might as well just take a few more photos of me. Or of the Traveler. It's better than wasting time persuading Chlorand at any rate.
Of course I will. I'm not gonna let him off that easy. All right, then everyone who wants to be in the photo, gather up. And smile.
Say cheese. You know what I should have done? I should have just also just streamed this. I don't think I'll be posting as actually. Just way too long. Might either I might also just like split it up. Or
Alright, that should do it. I'll be back here later anyway, so let's call it a day.
I don't know.
You're very quick.
Speed is of the essence when it comes to the news, and freshness is the key. Also, not to brag, but I'm pretty good at building connections. Who knows? I might eventually get that interview with you after all, Miss Chlorand.
Wow, you really do have that never say die spirit. I'm impressed.
I'll hazard a guess that this is how you got that interview at the Fortress of Meripede.
Already knew she was going.
You're well informed. Let me make a guess too. I asked Sijuin who told Monsieur Nervillette, and he told you, right?
That's a very complete information chain.
In truth, all Monsieur Neuvillette asked me was, when did the fortress become so friendly towards the media? I told him that it was best not to speak too soon. There's no guarantee that Ridesley will make a personal appearance.
You're right. I've got to treasure every moment I have with them. In which case, I'll be making a move first.
Stay safe now. And tell me if you hear anything interesting. I'll treat you to afternoon tea in exchange.
Okay. Go to the Fortress of Meripod. Man, it's ready like fucking 2 my time. Man. I really expect this to go this long. I would have thought, like my thought would be like it'd probably go like oh sorry. I'd probably go like max is like 5 hours tops. That's not true. I actually thought it might take like 7 hours, but
There's a real nostalgic feeling to this place.
there's like no way to like pause the game when you're in the middle of like Furina's trial. So I just decided to continue.
Of course. I'm here to welcome you and our dear Miss Charlotte, whom our good head nurse recommended.
It's an honor to finally meet the much-rumored Duke. Thank you for consenting to my visit to the fortress, sir.
No need to thank me. But that said, I shouldn't be the focus of your interview. I trust you recall our agreement?
Yeah.
Of course, of course.
All right then, this way.
Alright. She's just like randomly picturing. Oh, this too.
Hey, no need to be so nervous. I've already taken all the photos we need. Miss Charlotte,
don't
Do
like
these
to
pictures
be
really
like
need to be published on the cover of the Steambird?
together in a picture.
It would seem that Miss Lorvine doesn't want her
Yeah.
face to appear beside that of Mr. Jurier.
Sir, please don't say things like that.
But it looks like dear Mr. Jurier denies it. Might this interview be very important to you then?
No, I just... This is my first time being interviewed, and I'm very thankful to the Steambird for...
Now, I might not look it, but I actually did meet Mr. Edwin once. And I'll be honest, I enjoyed chatting with you more. You've definitely got more of that genius vibe going on. The boat that brought about a miracle, the ark that saved the people. Why, you recreated a myth back there, like an emissary of legend. Still, if I might ask, where's that flying ship now?
Huh. Looks like Charlotte's
Oh yeah, that's the one that,
herself
like on
another
the like the previous Archon quest.
I have to apologize, but that ship is
The
presently in
ship.
the bowels of our factory. I'm afraid
I
it won't be
forgot.
easy
Like
for you to get a
wondering where
shot
the
of it.
ship came from. I saw it's like this whole place just came up under the sea. But I just remember now. There's actually like a ship that they shown in previous Archon quest towards the end. Like a ship that they actually built, just in case something happens.
Really? Well, then in that case, could I have an interview with you to make up for that loss?
He really doesn't know how to squeeze opportunities for all their worst.
You already know my answer, I'm afraid. Best you interview our head nurse instead. Or perhaps you'd like to take another photo of this couple of researchers?
Did you really have to use the word couple? Well then, two solo.
Is my hair messed up? Please, someone help me have a look.
Things sure are getting pretty lively here. Oh, seems like everyone's here. Would any of you like to try this new drink I came up with?
Ah, Siegeween.
Siegeween.
Hey, Miss Charlotte. Why don't you, take some pretty photos of our head nurse? Sure. Come on, Miss Siegeween. Over this way. Let's find a brighter spot.
Huh? Sure. Do I have to smile?
Yeah.
So, how have things been at the front?
Same old, as you can see. Fontaine's undergone some changes, but this place is still more or less the same.
Other than that flying ship, it got a tad too much attention, I think.
That's why I decided to let the interview go through. We should direct more public opinions toward the behind-the-scenes heroes. Am I right, Mr. Jurier? Miss Lorvine?
You're too kind, sir. I believe that you too should have
He's
been
like
in the sun.
passing
Not that you
the
would
interview
want that, which is a pity.
on each other,
I'll just leave the spot.
bouncing back and forth. Talk with previously,
See?
yeah.
Lots of things happened that day, huh? Anyway, regarding that Harbinger, I'm not sure you remember, but his 3 young followers are still waiting for his return.
What happened to?
I'll tell them that there's good news and bad news. The good being that their boss seems fine, and the bad being that they must face extended sentences for a bad escape.
Oh, actually, what about you? Are things gonna change for you too?
Nah, it's probably just gonna stay
What
in here.
change can there be?
Yeah.
The fortress will keep chugging along, and so will my duties. As to what Miss Furina's departure will mean for the nation, and if our laws and governance will be transformed, we'll leave those to the folks in the overworld.
Hey everyone, the photo shoot's done.
Kind of shitty if like
In that case, let's call it a day here.
it's really gonna be fucking shitty if Mihoyo decides to just like I'm pretty sure like towards the end of this quest she's gonna be like become the real Hydro Archon in this place, or probably just gonna be a pretend or something. It's gonna be pretty shitty because we really expected her to be the real, you know, Hydro Archon, because that's like the reason why a lot of people are pulling for her. So a bit shitty is how they they advertise her and it turns out to be just like a fake.
Come on, traveler, let's go.
There'll
I have
be
a
a
feeling
next
that
time.
Maybe? Who knows? I might write a story about the underwater factory next time.
I have a really good feeling that Nubelite would just pass on his powers to Furina because yeah, she's been pretending to be like the Hydro Archon, but what if she actually becomes the real one? You know, that'll be cool. Can I just lie down instead? Yeah, I'm just gonna I need to be careful. 'Cause I don't want Needle to die here. Because if she turns out not to be like the real Hydro Archon, I don't know. I might not pull for her anymore. I'm just gonna reserve to pulling. Really wait, can't wait for Needle's rerun. Because I'm trying to really get her to C6.
Navia mentioned that she stayed in touch with Linny and the others after working together. Apparently, they've been at the docks distributing these strange pockets the whole time since.
Traveler, Paimon. Ah, and Miss Charlotte, too.
Would you like a magic pocket?
What sort of gadget is it?
It's a wondrous bag that can be used to carry many things. The water level has returned to normal, but if you see any of your things floating around, you can use this to carry them. Or you could trick a friend into doing it for—
Trick a friend? I wonder which of my friends
Maybe
would
the
fall for
Traveler?
that.
Just kidding. He's like looking at us.
You could just make a friend like Fremine here. Isn't that right?
You're saying Fremine is a freaking moron?
Is this what you meant by
Make us more
I'll
friends?
help you make some more friends?
To be honest, that sounds pretty sweet. Could I have your contact, please?
Sure.
My god, seriously? You just gave out your address like that?
Right.
You sure are working hard to help Furina socialize.
He was the one who proposed doing this. He even wants to assist in our magic shows.
Yeah, sounds like it would suit him.
Yes, I was planning to first introduce Pear as an assistant, and later Fremine himself. In the future, I think we can leave underwater escape magic to him too.
And that said, would anyone want to see a diver escape underwater?
That's true. Like,
Oh, it'll work
mean-
out. Every journey begins with the first step. He'll become a part of our show.
it's already
eventually.
like fucking diver.
Lynette, could you come over? Miss Charlotte says she wants to take a picture of a—
Got it.
Got it.
My, that Charlotte is rather perceptive. She got rid of everyone the moment she realized I had something to say to you. So, Father says that you did a great deal during the latest events. She's very grateful for your contributions to Fontaine.
That's alright. We were more than happy to help. So, what's she doing now?
Oh, I guess you haven't heard.
She's gonna come back to
After
Sneznaya.
Lady Furina left, Father and Monsieur Neuvillette opened negotiations, during which he gave Fontaine's gnosis to her as a diplomatic gift.
A diplomatic gift?
Yes, I was quite surprised at first myself. But when I thought it over, there were actually a number of things going for it. It could have been done as an apology for the incident with Lord Child, or as thanks for his help in tying the all-devouring narwhal down. Furthermore, Father did also lend significant aid to Fontaine and Poisson.
That's true, but this is a gnosis we're talking about. Doesn't this seem a bit
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, they just gave it all.
Agree,
All the
but
other
I've also
Archons.
heard that it seems that Monsieur Neuvillette has had a significant change of heart regarding the matter.
So there's some reason for this that only Neuvillette knows about?
I suspect you'll have to ask him about that yourself. Ah, yes, speaking of which, I did see him strolling around the entrance to the Fortress of Mer-
Isn't he real busy and stuff? Paimon didn't think he'd have the time for that. But back to the topic. The gnosis was given to the knave.
Yeah, what actually happened to Child?
They say that he's returned to Sneznaya
okay.
to recover from his wounds. I hear that the recent disaster really
War
did a number on his
buddies, really?
That's true. When you think about it, we've had loads of run-ins with the Fatui. To think we'd be allied with them this time.
Yeah.
So shocked by such a simple switching of sides?
Yeah, the knave.
Father!
Well, what do you know? Come to the docks to see how my children are doing and meet the Traveler by chance. Please do not pay my accomplishments in Fontaine too much mind. I would have done them regardless.
Are you going to take the gnosis back to Sneznaya?
That is our duty as
Yeah.
harbingers. Don't be too preoccupied with sides. The goal of the Fatui concerns not a single place or person, but the entire world. With such a grand goal in mind,
It is inevitable that we must wear many masks. Switching my masks is something I've always done. Well, that depends on many things. No one truly knows what the future holds. What good is honesty if you can't rely on it forever? As for you, I very much look forward to our next collaboration. Good things
Well, it
cannot
depends
be
on like
achieved
what you want to
alone,
collaborate upon.
and you've
On
proved
me.
yourselves to be great partners.
What's that? Oh, that's yeah. Vision of child's.
All right. I'll remember to return it. Thank you for keeping it safe for him this entire time.
Yep.
And that's a wrap for me. Huh? You're...
Greetings, Miss Journalist.
Miss Journalist.
Hello. If I'm not mistaken, there are diplomatic channels I'll need to report to take a photo of you.
That is correct. So forgive me, but I will not be able to serve as a subject in your article. However, feel free to write as much as you'd like about our dear magicians and our upcoming rookie talent.
I would...
The sea breeze is quite pleasant. I shall continue my walk while the weather remains
That
so
like
agreeable.
pattern is just really interesting.
Farewell.
Their whole
Farewell,
organization.
Oh,
Like I said, they
she has such
don't
an intimidating presence.
always mean to do
even dare
bad
to take a
things.
picture. Thankfully, I've already wrapped up all my pre-scheduled interviews. Thank you all. This'll be more than enough for me to write about, I'm sure.
Don't be too nervous. Why don't you take a magic pocket before you go? Here, traveler, Paimon, you take one too.
Is that like a thing? Like a gadget?
That's right. Funny. I was giving out magic
I already
pockets
have a
when we
magic
first met, too.
pocket.
And what do you know? I'm doing the exact same thing right now.
My bag is bigger
So
than
many
those
things have happened.
magic pockets that you
Are
guys
still the
have.
pockets.
I have like
I guess this must be
9999
life.
some of the ores.
We will all follow our own paths, and serendipity will lead you to your fated friends. Alright then. We'll be handing out pockets in some other districts later,
Have a good
so
day,
we'll
you
get going now.
too.
Have a good day, you two.
Well, guess we sent Charlotte, huh? Shall we go see how Neverlette's doing? Of course he's not so busy that he doesn't have time to chat anyway.
Okay. Yeah, my god, I have to like go back. I have to walk a long fucking way to get to her. Again, like I said, if this turns out to be like they don't honor, so I'm kind of pissed off with that. Like she was like fucking advertised like the Archon of Fontaine, and then they just like took that all away. Why would I even fucking pull for her? Because I'm only pulling for her because she's the fucking Archon. No reason for me to pull for her. No reason for me to pull for her if she's not given that title.
So, you really are here, Neverlet. I didn't think you were going to have free time this hour of the day.
Really? Oh, I suppose you must have met Mr. Linney. He took the time to greet me earlier when he passed this way. In any case, you came at a good time. I was just considering reaching out to you to set up a meeting, so I may explain some things that I haven't had the time to before.
Okay.
Paimon's glad that you remembered. Thank you for keeping us on your mind, what with you being busy and all. Alright, let's have it then. How was Fontaine actually saved? The whole business is still quite the mystery.
Pulsar's fucking died. That's how.
It is strange how words can often leave a bitter taste in the mouth when it finally comes time to say them out loud.
The sigh softly, for telling you the truth concerning what he saw that day. Puzzlers deceived the heavily principles and used Furina's endless performance to save Fontaine.
So that's what happened?
Yeah, all I saw Furina's part.
Lord destroyed the divine throne of the Hydro Archon and restored your power to you, transforming you into a fully fledged elemental dragon sovereign. But Paimon still doesn't quite get what you did to save the Fontainians from dissolving.
For me, The authority of the ancient dragons refers to absolute control over
Yeah.
the hydro element. Fontanians were incomplete humans born of Egeria's use of the power of the primordial sea, with constitutions similar to that of mimics. But so long as those primordial energies remain within them, I could use the ancient dragon's authority to grant them true blood, after the fashion in which life was first brought into being on this planet. In other words, when I gave my verdict,
So now they're true
Fontanians
humans.
became true humans, and thus
So
would
they're
naturally
not
no longer be
oceanists
dissolved by
anymore.
water.
Fossilor must have counted on you to make that decision as well. Your verdict was the key to making the prophecy appear to have come true while saving everyone.
Yeah. Things were finally truly born.
Yeah, and in a manner of speaking, Fossilor finally managed to fulfill the original
Yeah.
Hydro Archon's wish to turn Oceanids into real people too.
It seems from your expressions that you still have more things you wish to ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it. I have investigated his case along many avenues, and I have
You're the
learned that he once
first
fell into an
elemental.
unknown chasm when he was young. There, by chance, he awakened the all-devouring narwhal. But whether it be by sentiment or reason, that should not have been enough to consider him the root cause of the disaster. At most, he would have had tangential liability. As for the judgment passed by the oratrice during the trial, whether it was due to that liability by association or Focalor deliberately using him to buy time for us on the assumption that he would be able to hold the creature off, I cannot say.
Guess Focalor had Fontanians in mind the whole time. In the end, it was thanks to her that they finally became real humans. Hang on a second. Back when Fontanians hadn't yet become real humans, were the children they had also transformed?
Life has always flowed like water. Do you recall how Fontanians would often come to the Fountain of Lucine to pray?
Yeah, Lynette said the fountain is where all the waters in Fontaine converge.
In truth, even those couples did not know that such prayers were no mere custom, but instead a form of... Those Oceanids who were blessed within the spring water would later descend as new humans in the coming months.
Paimon sorta gets it now. Either way, seems like this ritual won't be of any further use, but it'll probably live on as a local custom.
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Where is my fucking sister? About Fontaine's future.
About that. Risley said Furina...
Ah, Lady Furina. The people are only aware that her death sentence has not been carried out. She abdicated the post of Hydro Archon and left affairs related to that title to me, before leaving the Opera House. I related Focalor's words to her faithfully and completely. After hearing them, she seemed neither saddened nor comforted. She simply said that she was tired and needed to rest. Having said that, she then packed her things and moved out of the Opera House, not unlike how an ordinary person might.
But she's still got a place to stay, right?
You need not worry. I will make arrangements to ensure that she will not want for food, clothing, board, or travel. In truth, I am somewhat happy for her. The wear and tear on her spirit will, of course, take time to heal, but now that she no longer has to play the role of Focalor the Hydro Archon, she can finally lay down her burdens and lead a normal life.
What about you then? What are your plans now that you've regained your full powers as a Hydro Dragon?
After Focalor passed on, the Oratrice also ceased to function. This matter will directly affect our trials. After much careful consideration, I've decided to take over its role in our courts. From now on, I shall hear cases and pass verdicts by myself.
Looks like you're still considering stuff from the perspective of the units,
Yeah.
huh?
As an elemental dragon, there are indeed many things that I must do. But this power and this duty, in a manner of speaking, you could say that both were granted to me. As such, before I attend to my other responsibilities, I must first and foremost continue to serve Fontaine as its highest judge. The duty of the Hydro Sovereign and the duty of the Eudex shall coexist within my person. Additionally, the Hydro Archon's departure has brought about another problem, which is that the Opera House shall no longer produce indemnitium.
That's true. That power was derived from the people's faith in the Hydro Archon, wasn't it? Wait, but the various mechs and machines in the city are all still okay. Where are they getting their energy from?
As I am now, I have full command over New Musia, and it can serve as a complete substitute. Another reason why I cannot quite leave Fontaine immediately.
Wow. This ancient dragon's authority stuff is really quite useful, huh?
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Oh, that's right! have given it to the knave as a diplomatic gift or something.
Leaving aside their intentionality, the two Fatui Harbingers have indeed done much for us during
Yeah, I
this
guess
crisis.
that's fair.
Their
Just
sole
give it to
remaining
them.
goal in Fontaine, at least at this point, would seem to be the Gnosis. The Oratrice has ceased to function. The Hydro Archon's divine throne is now no more, and I do not need the Gnosis's power. As such, it has lost all If the Fatui have impure designs, then we might as well accede to their request now, and avoid unnecessary conflict.
What complicated considerations? Paimon thought you were just giving it to them out of gratitude to the knave and as an apology to Child.
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Oh, the
You
next.
will soon be heading to Natlan, I presume.
Yeah.
I'm afraid that I have little talent as a travel guide, so all I can do is tell you what I know about that land. As far as I'm aware, Natlan can be said to be a nation of dragons.
A nation of dragons?
So does that mean that Natlan doesn't have an Archon as
No,
well?
I suspect that I would not find myself welcome there. Unlike ancient dragons such as myself, the dragons of Natlan have undergone long years of development and evolution.
Ooh, we'll see fucking
Large
dragons.
numbers of them have entered a form of coexistence with humanity. Natlan is also the nation of war. War ravages those lands like an undying flame. There is one other piece of information I got incidentally from my negotiations with the knave that I believe may be useful to you. The harbinger known as the Captain has thrown his hat into the endless ring of war.
The Captain. Sounds like a real tough customer. Seriously, everywhere you look, there's a Fatui Harbinger doing
Yeah.
their thing.
I suggest that you fully prepare yourself before going to Natlan. In the meantime, Fontaine's doors will always be open to you. Ask away.
Well, I guess that's all.
as I know it.
Don't have any more questions.
Hang on a sec. When we spoke to Linny earlier, he mentioned that your attitude towards giving away the Gnosis had clearly changed. We guessed that there might be some reason for it that only you were aware of.
No wonder the House of the Hearth is the Fatui's intelligence division. They are certainly sharp. So regarding this specific issue, I was just getting ready to share something with you. In truth, I exchanged some further words with that lady named Skirk after sending you two back to the surface. It went something like this.
Well, we're going to head topside to see what's going.
What next?
The all-devouring narwhal isn't here, so I'm no longer getting any interference. I can finally catch the scent of your power, what it's made of. It is the authority of the planet's primordial dragons, but with something very similar to a god's curse mixed in. It's quite a novel blend. I'm sure I've encountered something like this before. What was it again?
I do not know what you...
Ah, of course. How could I forget? You should have the remains of the third descender on your person, yes?
What?
Remains?
Did
I've
you
never
eat
heard of any such thing.
the third
Huh.
descender?
According to your parlance, I believe it may be called a gnosis.
Well, that much is true. After Focalor's divinity faded, she handed her gnosis to me. But I fear I have never heard of it described in the manner that you just did.
I've been
The
training
gnosis,
with my
me.
master, the Foul, ever since I was young, and I have never returned to the surface since. So most of the information I possess, I got from him. It is only natural for those who are greater than humanity to possess a different sort of common sense, which is why there are so many problems in our attempts to communicate with humans. Regardless, you should probably get rid of objects of misfortune to prevent any disasters from befalling you. To live in itself is a blessing. But once a person dies, the bonds he once had with this world shall all turn to curses.
What do you mean by that?
No need to fret. These are just my personal thoughts, and my reason for no longer wishing to return to the surface.
This third descender you refer to, who are they? And when did they die?
Master never mentioned them to me. Perhaps it just wasn't that important for me to know. If you're interested, though, I could ask him. I'll be sure to pass the answer on to you next time.
Next time? You believe we will meet again?
I do. Wait, I have a disciple of my own, don't I? He can be the messenger then.
That's that sound.
That's what she told me. Whether it would prove useful or not, I wanted to pass that information on to you.
The remains of the third descender?
So the noses are made from the remains? Yeah.
Paimon just thought they looked like chess pieces. How could they be a person's remains?
All the same, assuming that there was no misunderstanding or special metaphor at play, that is what she meant to say.
And she said that it would bring misfortune and that you should check it, which is why you gave it to the tree.
If she speaks the truth, then I would simply be putting Fontaine at unnecessary risk by keeping...
Time to port the center. One... That's... Okay. One, that the diagnosis related to the senders, and two, the one who came before me has already died.
I guess
Wonder
that you might
who
already be
Dainsleep
familiar
really
with this
is.
concept, but I did not expect you to be one of them. That means that the Gnosis, which are exceedingly element compatible and can even enhance elemental abilities, do indeed come from the third descender. I wonder, does your body also possess similar properties?
Like being able to
Yeah.
use elemental powers without a vision. That does sort of count as special
That makes sense actually. Why the noses can...
Let's not think about this stuff right now. It just feels creepy. Comparing the Traveler to the dead third descender and all. That's what you say, but this topic still feels like bad luck. Once Child recovers, let's get some more answers out of him.
Yeah.
Or go look for his master and get the answers that way.
I too believe it unwise to make too many blind guesses when information is lacking. The same is true of being at court.
Alright. Whatever the case, it seems...
Yes. All of Focalor's efforts were for this moment as well.
But she sacrificed herself in the end as a god, and she suffered through all those years as a human. Was that really what she wanted?
I suppose that would be the mystery of a god's will. I suspect not. But once in a while I too would guess that if wishes were like the clouds in the sky, they will one day return to the earth as raindrops. Life flows like water, and rain is the final answer. The water levels may sometimes tilt one way or another, but the rain falls fairly upon all. And what, ultimately, is the difference between the rains that fall upon all of us?
Alright. Finally, it ended. Man, that was kind of really fucking long, bro. Forget this. Actually, wanna like, for now, I'm just gonna like fucking, I'm not gonna give my thoughts yet. But in all honesty, what's this? This is like, okay, this is story quest. I was like wondering which one's story quest here. Man, that actually changed a lot of things for me. I really wanted to pull for Furina, but now turns out to be that she's not really the Archon. It's like that's one of the reasons why I wanted to pull for her, because I just wanted to. She's the Archon, basically. I guess this just makes her as same level as Kokomi then. Why would I get her if I can already have Kokomi? Nothing that makes her special, you know? Kind of bullshit, you know. That's one thing that I fucking hated about that whole... I get it, they wanted it to be different from the other Archon quest, but I am just really fucking disappointed. It would be much more better if just like Furina just gave up her power kind of thing and decided to like give it to Nubelite, but she still continued to have some sort of like her powers retained. This kind of feels like false advertising. She was advertised as like the Archon. It turns out to be that she isn't. Like, I don't know. I really don't know if I'm still gonna pull for her. I'm actually glad that I did get her yet, because kind of really disappointed. Anyways, I'm gonna keep my thoughts in, like my whole thoughts in for now. I'm gonna be like talking about that more. Like, you could really feel me like losing interest towards the end. There's a mid section towards to the end of the quest, Archon quest, because I really didn't like how it turned out. Anyway, that's all for me today. We're gonna play. You know, things might change. You know, I want to like give my full, you know, feedback on all the whole thing that happened. We're gonna wait. We're gonna play the story quest as well. Let's see what happens. This doesn't make sense as well for Furina to have a fucking hydro. Like, she's a fucking hydro freaking element, but she didn't have any vision at all. So how did she end up having vision on her banner? Doesn't make any fucking sense. And yeah, as well, like I said, she's the same powers as the other Archons. I don't know. Anyways, I'm just disappointed. That's all I'm gonna say for now. I'm disappointed with this Archon quest, how this ended. I'm gonna end it here. We've been running for like 6 hours. My god. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be playing more tomorrow of this game. We'll be playing the story quest next, and then there are other things in here as well. Like the world quest. Alright, so yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody. Bye bye.